Today I'm going to show you how to make a very quick and easy Panzanella salad. Hey, welcome back to the Average Kitchen. Mark here with a C. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Today I'm going to show you a very quick and easy Panzanella salad with a twist my way. I'm going to add avocado. I know it's not traditional, but it's awesome. So I've got some tomatoes here. Any kind of tomatoes will do. Cherry tomatoes, Romas, these are like tomatoes on the vine. Some cucumber, red onion, fresh parsley. As you see here, I have a basil plant. If you ever have the opportunity to buy a beautiful basil plant, say at your local grocery store, they're $3 or $4. Put them in the sun and they just go forever. It's awesome. Now, I also know a traditional panzanella, you take old bread, cut it into chunks, olive oil, salt, pepper, bake in the oven. Today we're going to take the easy route and we're just going to use croutons. I've also pre-made my dressing and I'm going to explain to you why. The dressing, Jamie's going to put it in the description, but the dressing basically consists of dried oregano, dried basil, red wine vinegar, garlic, olive oil, a splash of balsamic, and some lemon juice. And the reason why I made it in advance is the dried ingredients like your basil and your oregano, if you don't let it sit for an hour or two, has a really weird texture. You got to let them sort of soften up. So I wanted to do that in advance. So that's our dressing. So basically I've got a bowl here and I'm going to just start working on doing some prep. So there's some cucumbers you see I already had sliced. I think I'm just going to take these and slice them in half and everything's going to go into our bowl. Sorry, Jamie. So I got some fresh parsley here and I'm just going to chunk it up. And when I can, I'll pull out some of the stems, but the stems are all right as well. And we're just going to basically start putting that into our salad. So depending on how many people you're making this salad for, just adjust your vegetables accordingly or your ingredients accordingly. So you can either, you can cut your vegetables however you like, but a tomato like this, oh, I got some parsley on my fingers. It's still pretty, it's not overripe, so I can cut that in half. But if it's really, really ripe, you may find that the innards of your tomato start falling apart, which isn't really the end of the world. But in this case, I think we're going to be good to go. So we'll just start throwing some tomato in there. And this truly is a salad that eats like a meal. If you make this a good enough size, that's a perfect lunch, in my view. All right, we're pretty heavy on the tomato here, but that's okay. It is a Panzanella salad, and I love tomato. And if you don't like raw onion, or it doesn't sit well with you, just don't add it. I find if you cut it pretty thin, you still get the flavor of the onion, but it's not overpowering. Put that in there. Give that a little shake, mix things up. It's starting to smell amazing. So now I'm just going to pick some basil. It's definitely my favorite herb. Smells amazing. And like I said, it just keeps growing and growing, which is so nice. So I'm going to show you a little, I don't know if it's a trick, but a little way to protect the integrity of the actual basil and not damage it, but sort of cut it up in a way that you'll be able to spread it out. I think they call it cheffernade or something like that. But so if you roll it up gently and then just run your knife through your pile, you'll see you end up with, a nice, somewhat consistent amount of the fresh basil. So we're going to add that into our salad. And then we're going to put in our croutons. I don't know what's there, maybe not even a half a cup. So again, we'll give that a shake. I actually think for the purpose of the video, I'm going to switch to a bigger bowl. All right, so now for the controversial part of the video, the avocado. If you take a steak knife or a paring knife and you sort of run that down the middle, hopefully I did this right. That should pop open. And then traditionally what I'll do is just try not to cut your hand. And depending on how fresh your avocado is, it should, moment of truth here, sort of pop out into a bunch of little cubes, which are sort of like bite-sized pieces. So obviously a little trickier, we gotta get that pit out. So we get that out. And then again, just sort of slowly run our knife through. Avocado can be slippery. So again, we'll just sort of pop those pieces out, and hopefully some of them I might not have cut all the way through, so we'll just break them up a bit. So if you do notice in this case here where I had one that it didn't cut all the way through, I'll just give it a slice. So now it's time to add our dressing. So there's probably more dressing here than we need for this amount, but I like things well dressed, and I also, it also keeps well for a couple days in the fridge if you want to have this another day. So we're just going to basically start spooning in some dressing. There's roughly 3 tablespoons there to start. We'll go with 4. And then I'll just use a spatula to sort of give that a mix. And you'll be able to tell pretty quickly if you think it needs more dressing or if you think it's pretty good. I would say maybe 1 more tablespoon would probably be sufficient. So how does that look? I think it looks spectacular, super fresh, super light. You know, if you're on a bit of a weight loss journey like I am myself, and you want to try to reduce fat and reduce carbs and try to eat healthier, this makes for a really good midweek lunch work lunch. So that's our episode. There you go. Panzanella salad my way. Don't put the avocado if you don't like, but I think you might like it. So leave me a comment. Do you love avocado? Do you like it in this salad? Hope to see you on the next one. And thanks for tuning in.